keep on coming. I love to see brothers and sisters
looking out for one another.
That's the way it should be, not contrary. Oh, no, 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 no. Jah free my people.
Over hills and valleys, so don't believe.
Colon.
Over hills and valleys, so
Colon.
don't believe.
Hard drugs will do to behave like you want it to. Arrogance. Many live their life to a clue. No reason why they are so sad and blue. Places to go, so much to do. Not a moment to reflect on the cycle of life. Yeah! Why do they try? Why do they try? Why do they? Why do they try? Why try to make I unhappy?
Really, I don't know.
Why try to make I unhappy?
Really, I don't know.
Why try to make I unhappy?
Really, I don't know.
Why try to make I unhappy?
Really, I don't know.
Are you ready? The superstar himself, Summer Jam. Let's get together. Let's welcome him, Mr. Bujo No rebel. There was good and evil. We chose good. Are you ready? Come on, are you ready? The old is vanity. Where do you wear? Oh, I wonder if you wear. I and I want to rule my destiny. I and I want to rule my destiny. Here I call. This is destiny. Mama, look from where you call it.
Destiny.
Oh, mama, look from where you call it.
I wanna rule my destiny.
I and
I wanna rule my destiny.
What can I say? We've been blessed, we've been touched. I love just so much. I feel them fighting. We are not giving up. Mineral Messiah full of a spiritual cup. Wisdom overstanding shall not be too much. Shall I die day and night from even the best dealers who walk it a daylight. Destiny, Mama, look from where you call it.
Destiny.
Oh, Mama, look from where you call it.
I wanna rule my destiny.
I and I
wanna rule my destiny.
what did I say? Cast away their cards from us. Now you hold them in the region, that valley of decision. Restraining the hidden, we are rod of iron. Men know not the destiny of our next man. Why hold him? Set him free for too long. I wanna rule my destiny. Here I call, where me all
Destiny.
oh, mama, look from when you call it.
Destiny.
Why, mama? Why, mama? Why, mama?
I wanna rule my destiny.
Whoa. I and
I wanna rule my destiny.
oh, no. I say, Cologne, the only rich man's world is in the city. Oh, destruction of the poor is poverty. Oh, destruction of our soul is vanity. Where do you wear? Oh, people, I wonder if you will. What did I say? Dreadlock all.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott, here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. Well, at least I hope it's up until the 10 o'clock hour. I may have to cut it slightly shorter tonight. Due to several circumstances I'm still monitoring. Not sure if we'll be able to go directly up till the 10 o'clock hour tonight. Trying to monitor to see as far as I can push it, yeah?
This is what we call our way.
Good night to you, Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Remember when I was young, love and music was something I yearned. Needless me to say, that was the music of the day. They used to play a nice melody in G, but that was the sweetest thing for me. And when the song of the banjo hit the air, that was all the people want to hear. Listen to the sound of the banjo.
Can't beat that string band music, can you?
Moses.
Good night to all of you joining us via the various mediums.
Your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know.
Linda, Imelda, Francois, John, Mark, Betty, James, Cleaver Williams, Wendy Ann McGuire, good night to you. Etta Baptiste, Errol Bonaparte, Cynthia B, Cicely Celestine, Peter Stryker, Lewis, Norma Roberts, Yvonne Courtney, Wallan Aquat, good night to you all. Gil Williams, good night. Small Axe, good night, bro. Pamela Hackett, Lynn Joseph, Willan Charles. Hey, Willan, what's up, bro? Yeah. Bro, Willan, man. Phyllis Ramsey, good night to you. Marilyn Ferguson, package received.
Waste this precious time. What will
Gracias.
none of us do it?
Kenrick Gibbs, good night. Ruth Thomas, Leroy St. Paul. Charmaine Ragbasing, Winnie Simon, Tesha Collymore.
Matthew James,
Maudlin Bartholomew, Leslie James, Esther Peters, McLean Mitchell.
and our song now. There must be something hidden in the vibes.
Let me say a special good night to you, Kada Joseph. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. And Shemi, I know that Shemi is listening as well. Good night to you, my dear.
It's like Moses, feeling Charles, champion, so much to make.
Zayla, go in your bed.
Man kept the culture
Zoe, go in your bed.
with pleasure.
Zelia, go in your bed.
Hold on, you are over.
Carib Spice Fitness, Listra Abraham. Roslyn Jones, Good Life, Kathleen Ludlow, Jackie Raymond, Alban Harris.
They have me singing along.
Francis George, good night to you. And Fitzroy Edwards, and I see Osbert James, Dalma Scott, and Ashma Charles. Faithlyn Hallie Douglas, Spice Dave, Vanessa Lalji, Casimir Thomas,
Love when music
Faithlyn Hallie Douglas, Janice Mitchell, Jeshi Sherry, Christine Otley, Anne-Marie Grant,
play a nice melody in
Shirley James, Stephanie John,
for me. And when this
Lona Lolo Williams,
that was all the people.
Patsy Frank, Agnes Henry, Gavin Thomas, Deborah Laborde, Alcy Peters, Ibrahim,
Of Moses.
Claude Abraham,
Move your feet, move your waist.
Hillary Joseph, Hermina Batiste, Deborah, well, no, I called Deborah Laborde already. Right, nice. Yes, Dennis Sandy,
So let your
Marilyn Panchu, Hillary Joseph, Red Gull Pascal, Oswald Belfont, Phyllis Mitchell, John Stafford, Magdalene Henry, Matthew Boyne, what's up, bro? Sherma Jeremiah, Mayana Julian, Jocelyn Matheson, Cindy Thomas, Jacket Man,
I remember those glory years.
Jocelyn Matheson, I seen you, man. I seen you, Dory, I see you.
Can't deny that the standard was
Hermione Calise, Shirley Skerritt, Cecil Gay,
good for your name.
Miriam Samuel and Miriam Boyne,
Man singing, party time, all are we dancing.
Joel, Lorna Johnson, Maria Marcel, and Andrews, yeah?
Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know.
Hope everything is going all well and okay in your neck of the woods. Good night to the Canadian listeners. Whichever part of Canada you are, we say a special good night to you.
That is Baker. And our song now. There must be something hidden in the vibes that have me hypnotized. I went and I did my research. I want to caution my approach.
And good night to our listeners wherever you are.
Champions.
North Carolina, Texas,
Kept the call.
Florida,
Sit down to
New York City,
we are sold out.
Maryland, good night to you. Arizona,
Maraca.
California,
There must be something catchy in the song that have me singing along.
Aruba,
Like I'm out of control.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Eating up me soul. So
Our hundreds of listeners out there in St. Lucia.
brings that
Our Catition listeners, yeah.
love when music teaser. You can
Our listeners in Dominica who are soon to face a general election. Only face again general election just now, yeah.
you hear banjo.
You all know there are quite a few general elections that are due to happen within the Caribbean soon, eh?
Place in the
Yeah, I think Trinidad is coming up within the next year.
so let your body go.
Dominica is coming up within the next few months.
Don't waste this precious
Turks and Caicos is coming up.
time tomorrow. Love when music.
St. Vincent is coming up anytime from now. Jamaica is coming up anytime from now. Quite a few. I know a lot of you saying, well, yeah, all of them coming up. We want to hear about we own. I can't tell all about we own, you know.
The people want to hear. Listen to the sound of the banjo. An emulation of Bigfoot Moses.
Pennsylvania, good night to you.
Move your waist. Sweet, sweet music.
Pennsylvania. Okay, right. Pennsylvania, good night to you all, eh?
You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow?
Washington, good night. Folks, the phone lines are open already, huh?
Banjo.
I know many folks didn't get the opportunity to get through last night. Some had some problems. But the phone lines are open tonight, 440-7377, 347-329-3101.
When you hear Christmas time comes around, look out for your name.
As I said, we're pushing to go to the 10 o'clock hour. We're not positive we'll be able to make it directly there tonight. I am monitoring situation. Yeah, technical wise, yeah. Looking to see how long something holds out here.
Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. You hear tell a coin. Hunky high. Cecil James. Matthew James. That is Baker. And that was all now. There must be something hidden in the vibes that have me hypnotized. I went and I did my research. I want to caution my approach. Names like Moses, Feeling Charles, Champion, so much to mention. These men kept the culture and pass it on to us with pleasure. We are soldier, we are Toba, Maracas. There must be something catchy in the song that have me singing along. I feel like I'm out of control. The music hitting up me soul. So
Yeah, also, yes, yeah, having internet problems. That's one of the problems, yeah.
love when music
I'm
teach.
not sure if it's going to hold up, huh? Nice, yeah.
You hear banjo to keep you in the mood. Move your feet, move your waist.
Yes, Marilyn, I'll ensure.
Music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind.
And we say a special good night to the listeners out there in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, who we know are still going through a very, very, very serious situation out there in Carriacou. I feel sorry for them, especially you're coming down to the Christmas period where people usually, you know, at this stage you're fixing up your home, you're dressing up, you're doing different things. And some people don't even have that home to fix up. And so you have people that are still staying, and it seems as though they'll be there in tents for an extended period of time. Yeah? It would be interesting to get an update on the number of houses. Yeah? The number of houses that they are claiming have been built in Carriacou and Petit Martinique up to this point in time. It would be very interesting to get an update and to hear, well, okay, it's 10, it's 12, it's 15, it's 100, whatever. It would be very interesting because you're getting regular updates out of the Grenadine Islands. Of course, they're not part of Grenada, but we're getting regular updates out of there. You're hearing a 700 here, 300 there, and so. And we're hoping that we can hear, because remember, they're not speaking about people who got CRIF money 2 weeks after the event. You're speaking here about people that I don't even know if they're in CRIF. But we're not speaking here about St. Vincent as a country that got CRIF money 2 weeks, not even months, 2 weeks after the event. And they've been able to do quite a significant amount of work. And we're hoping to hear, for all the funds that have been received, for all the shenanigans that are going on, what is going on in Carriacou and Petit Martinique when it comes to the rebuilding effort. But we know, as usual, ministers generally cannot speak unless the Prime Minister here and he give them permission to speak. It's not like under the New National Party where you would see ministers fully understand and comprehend what is going on under their ministry, and therefore they would be able to speak at length about any project or program that's going on under their ministry. No. The present Minister of Housing is who? Senator Gloria Thomas, I think it is. It might be interesting to ask her what is going on in Carriacou and Petit Martinique and on mainland Grenada with the rebuilding effort. The people up in Ahoma who lost their homes. There are several people in Ahoma, in St. Andrew, that lost their homes, not just their roof, the whole thing go. There are people in the south of the island that lost their entire home. I know of them personally, people in the south of the island that lost their homes. There are people in different areas that lost their homes. And right now, they're still bunking by somebody or fighting up to see how they could do things piece by piece by piece. And at the same interim, you have a situation where monies to help fix their places was received 14 days after that catastrophic event here in Grenada. And now we are down to the month of November. Yeah, we're nearly at the midway point in the month of November. And these people are yet to receive any sort of assistance from the government of Grenada. You have the rain event that took place yesterday. And I was hoping, I was hoping that the people in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, that it stayed south. That the people of Grenada were the ones more affected by it, as bad as it was. But the people of Carriacou were affected too. They were severely affected as well. Not as bad as what we see down here. And what we saw yesterday was even worse than what we saw for Hurricane Beryl. And I've been hearing, I haven't seen from an official source of one fatality. I wouldn't get into the details because until I see that, I'm just seeing things floating around the internet. But definitely, one individual has died, due to the events that took place yesterday. The circumstances of exactly how they died, where they died, etc. Until I see an official release or something from an official source, I don't want to go into the details of that. But sometimes they're using that as well, that you're waiting to see something official before you say anything. They're using that to not say anything. So when they don't say anything, they sort of cover it up because you don't speak on it because there's nothing official. Yeah? So we have to hear what is going on. Apparently one individual has lost their life and we send our condolences. I saw a family member of the individual this afternoon and we want to send our condolences to their family, both on the mainland and in Petit Martinique and possibly in Carriacou, whoever is in Carriacou, but mainly in Petit Martinique and on the mainland, their family, their children who they have left behind and so on. We want to send our heartfelt condolences to all of them. It's not an easy thing to lose a family member, especially a young person like that. A young, vibrant, active person like that. It's not easy to lose them in those circumstances. So until we get the full details of exactly what happened and how it happened, I won't go deeper into that. But just to send our condolences and to remind folks, because I'm hearing the talk here and there and everything, just remember, there are children involved. I always say that when it comes to certain things, there are children involved. Yeah? And remember, the children, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 or 20 years from now, can go back online. Yes, the internet will still be around. Maybe not in the same form, but it will be there. You'll be able to access the information that exists now. They'll be able to go back and listen and see what people have been saying. So be careful what it is you're saying. You're creating impressions on the internet that these children and other family members are going to have to live with for the rest of their life. So be careful what it is that some of you are saying. Yeah? And we saw the re-emergence of NADMA today. You ain't see NADMA. I keep hearing people sending me messages and saying NADMA informed people that this weather system was coming. You go to the NADMA Facebook page, there's nothing there for the month of November. Everything there is from October. There was nothing there for this month. I checked my device. There's nothing that came in from NADMA to warn that there may be flooding in low-lying areas, the chance of landslides with a rain event with thunderstorms or so. Nothing. Nothing came in from them. But they run on television this morning. All of a sudden, they find themselves on television this morning to come and talk about the events of yesterday. Yeah, you could come and talk about it now. But there are people who lost their vehicles. Thousands of dollars investment gone. Gone. And if, pray tell, if they did not have the proper insurance, if they did not have flood insurance, because flood insurance, remember, not because you have insurance mean you have flood insurance. Let me let a lot of the vehicle owners out there know. Not because you have insurance, vehicle insurance means that you are covered for floods. flood insurance is kind of specific. So you may not be covered for the floods. You may not be covered for windscreen if your windscreen is damaged and so on. So you have to double check your policy and speak to your insurance company. Because there are people whose vehicle was destroyed yesterday that may or may not be covered for flood. And then there's the larger issue as well. When we're speaking about the events of yesterday, where you have all those non-certificated engineers that are out there with this nonsensical, idiotic, and quite frankly, foolish and dotish statement that the walls in River Road failed yesterday. Listen, when you're dotish, try and keep your mouth closed and keep it to yourself. The walls did not fail. As I said earlier today on some social media post or whatever it is, if I am baking bread, or let's say I'm making cake, so I beat up my cake batter and I'm making cake, and I put the cake into the oven to bake, and after 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, you open the oven, you go and you scoop out some of the batter that I've put there, and you eat it, and then you want to claim, I don't know how to make cake, then you are an idiot. You're stupid. There is a flood mitigation project, multi-million-dollar funded for the River Road area. The reason that you have a flood mitigation project in that area is because the area does flood. We saw it over the years. Ever since, anybody that has lived in that area can tell you the area does flood. It floods from time to time. With serious rain events, the area floods. And as such, that is why the River Road Flood Mitigation Project, or the St. John's River Flood Mitigation Project, was conceptualized. The engineers came up with the proper plan for that particular area. And then the new National Party they started the actual project itself. So at the time of the NNP going out of office and the NDC coming into office, it was way advanced. In fact, it was what you see now. That is what was done during the period of the new National Party. The areas that the water passed to come in to the road itself are areas that should have been secured because the project should have been finished. It is because the project is incomplete. What happened yesterday happened in the way that it happened yesterday. You cannot judge and call the project a failure unless you're some kind of stupid. You cannot judge and call the project a failure if the project is incomplete. The project has to be complete. If the project is complete and that bridge that is up by steels and that piece of wall that was supposed to be built from steels going back to the gap to go into the housing scheme there. If that wall was built, and if the bridge that ought to have been there was there, and the bridge that ought to have been down by the stadium by now, if that bridge was there, and you had that type of flooding, then you might have been able to claim and say, well, the project is a failure. But neither has been done. There are still areas there where walls were supposed to have been built that have not been built because this NDC-led administration stalled the project. Top nice sign funded by CBI, blah, 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 blah. And the project has been stalled. The Prime Minister, in Parliament, at press conferences, at various fora, made various statements claiming that the price of the bridge was overcharged and so on, and they had to get the price down and different things like that. All sorts of statements and how they retender and all sorts of nonsense. And with all of that, the project remains incomplete. And as it is incomplete, you had the situation that occurred yesterday. Not because the project was ill-conceived. That is nonsense. You cannot judge the project because it is not finished. And if you're judging the project, and if you're honest to yourself, and if you at least have sense and you don't belong on that place above Steels there, you would admit that the areas where the water used to enter into the road and come down like the name of the area suggests, River Road, came down as a river in the road. Take people vehicle and mash it up. Take vehicle with people in it, bringing it down the road. You would admit that what took place there was due to the incomplete nature of the project. And if they cared about Grenada and not just defending a political party, if they cared about Grenada, if they cared about the people of River Road, if they cared about the people of St. Andrew that use that as the main thoroughfare to get over the hills to go into St. Andrew, and Bolio and Boca, Vendome, Willis, all those people that utilize that area, if they cared about those people, they would be calling on this administration with undue haste to ensure that the project is complete. Not to be making this stupid statement about, oh, the project was a failure. Dotish. Calling it as I see it. Dotish. I just have to say it as it is. The project is incomplete. 2 years this administration has been in office. 2 years. Yeah? 2 years this administration has been in office. The first Minister of Infrastructure was Mr. Dennis Cornwall. He was shifted from the Ministry of Infrastructure early last year, and the Prime Minister assumed responsibility for that portfolio. Neither have properly addressed the situation with the St. John's Flood Mitigation Project. Again, it is the St. John River Flood Mitigation Project. It is supposed to stop the flooding that takes place in that area. You all kind of think about, oh, the river mouth and River Road, and this thing somebody just messaged me talking about. River Road is not under sea level. That is not true. Come on, let's just be truthful here. It is not under sea level. That is not the case. Even driving there, you can see that clearly that it is not under sea level. The problem there is that from time to time, you have a high volume of water coming down from the hills. And if it comes down with the garbage that we, the same, me and you and other people throw into the, well, not me because I doesn't throw it, but anyhow, that people find and throw into the rivers and the ravines, the bamboo from construction and the other construction material that they would not call a truck and go and deposit in Bourgeois, not Bourgeois, in Perseverance. They would not call a truck to go and put it there, but they throw it into the river. The bamboo that they use to go and do the platform and so to do the casting, and the wood and everything that they use to do that. Or some of them, instead of going and make sure that the garbage is brought to Perseverance, they throw it there. So when that volume of water comes down, it picks up the garbage and it blocks a section of the river, and then the river overflows either into what we saw yesterday or other areas. So outside of the incompetence of the former Minister of Infrastructure and the present Minister of Infrastructure, the former being Mr. Dennis Cornwall, the present being the Prime Minister. Outside of the incompetence of these two individuals, you have the situation where various people have to take a bit of the blame for what took place yesterday in the River Road area. The Montu area as well. You have the situation where I showed you last night. The MP was talking about, oh, they're dealing with this and they're dealing with that, and this is being sorted out and that is being sorted out for the area. And what happened? Right now, we're still waiting to see when the drains will be cleared properly so that the water can flow out instead of flooding that area. Just the night before, we had a caller on this program was speaking about the state of the drains in Tantine. the state of the drains down in the Grenada area. And we see what has happened less than 24 hours after they spoke. Both areas were flooded. And again, where is the Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education? Where is the, let me ask that again. Where is the Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education? And I ask that in the context of this. You have a situation where there is no water in the south of the island, no water in the Tonga St. George, no water in the Tantine area, and you didn't think it important to send out a note to parents and say that you're going to cancel school for the day. So in the middle of the day, you have students that go, and then when they realize flour more than water in the schools, well, I'll put it as flour more than water, but something else more than water in the schools. And the schools had to be sending children home around the middle of the day. So parents incurred a cost to send their children, and after the children go to school now, they have to come back home one time. Well, not one time, but a few hours later, because they cannot continue for the day. So NADMA couldn't tell all you that there's a situation where there's no water, so therefore you can't have the schools. NADMA couldn't tell all you that. And I mean, some parents too, you send the children, you know there's no water there, but you send them. Maybe some parents thought that there's water storage, so that there's water at some of the schools, which seems to be a problem for some of the schools. So they had to be sending the children. So middle of the day, you're in town, and a bunch of children walking up and down saying, well, let me go here and hang out, and let me go there and hang out, and all kind of thing, until time to go down home, or go up home. That should not happen. And right now, it is night time. There are several areas that still remain without a supply of water. There are several areas right now that remain without a supply of water, and they should use the opportunity between tonight and in the morning to let parents know what is taking place. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Salut, Fadu. Welcome.
Hey, midday, Father.
So, I want to chime in about that thing that play up here. The flood and all that. Quick question though before I get into it. Just as the information, documents about the oil and stuff was found in a cabinet in the ministry, right? I would assume that there are other projects, information that was done and, assessed, and everything is just being lock and key, right? Why is it that, why you think it is that the government or the PM, acting PM, is suggesting now that although he's identified that it's a long-going problem, there are other ministries, other groups of government that's been there that would have done research and everything. I would assume that the information is there. So why isn't that information from those engineers pertinent to the idea that they're saying, like they put in a new group to investigate and a new group to do that? Like the commoners already know what the problem is. Like we've been experiencing the problems for years. Why are they still trying to sell us is like something that needs to be researched, as with everything else that they're doing. Everything else, they have to bring a committee, they have to put some people in place. Like we know the problems, we've been going through them problems historically, bro. Why are they getting off of that? As I say, I don't understand why people are co-signing this like waste man language. That's what I'll call it right now, because at term what the government is doing, two things. One, I call it revenge of the nuts. I know Mr. Pierre say restorative justice, but it's called it revenge of the nuts. To me, it's like fabrication of terminological inexactitudes. They just lying, plain out, point blank, period.
Yeah, man.
Like I don't get it. I don't get why people are still volunteering with that, and people are justifying these things. Again, I want to talk on big up my alma mater, Boca. Now, we did projects based on the same flooding situations. We did projects in school.
Wait now, hold on, Papa. That school should that be a university? That school should that be a university? The kind of things all they do in Boca. Man.
Boca is the best school. Boca was the best school, family.
Man,
I'm
glad that you're bringing out.
We had music groups and thing, you know. We had music groups and thing in school, you know.
I'm glad that you're bringing out all of that. Believe me, I'm glad that you're bringing out all of that because some people tend to look down at Boca and
there's a college bush school. Yeah, there's a college bush school, but
but go ahead. You all did a project on the flooding. Go ahead.
Okay, so we came up with methods or things that we can use within the area to like reduce the water flow. Like remember, I think Pauline a while back I was talking about the proper damming facilities, right? Excuse me. Now, if the government or the administrations are to put those things in place in terms of making like a you say a step down or step up or step down channel, which means that one compartment have to get full before it drains out, right? So it slows down the course of the water, which means that the way they make they dig out the spot lower down to River Road, it will accommodate the water flow from there. They could also make artificial pockets in the areas permitted to do that, which could also slow down the water. But more or less, it comes to like a damming situation or damming facilities. It's just more or less just rises, yeah. But it has a step version. So one chamber have to full before it leaks out, and it goes into another one and another one. As I say, a step down or a step up situation, which means now that the water has it slowed down a lot more. Right? These are just one of the things that we came up with back then. And yes, Boca was an excellent school, bro. I swear. Yeah, at the time when I was there, my alma mater was excellent. Although they used to call it Bush School, but yeah, we had everything, man. Even the technical subjects we had some. I remember in school we had students that was doing certified building like blueprints in school, because we had a drafting building technology. The first time they brought in building technology in the island for academia, we had that on our course, and well, I have to say I aced it too, you know. But there were other people in the mix. So building technology and all that, we had all those technical subjects, and I swear it was a very, very educational, very giving atmosphere. The teachers were on the general knowledge. It's kind of like, you see, like almost Mr. Pierre and Igwe and them is like, you could start off with one topic, but the information of general knowledge is so vast that you can get ideas from other things. So, excuse me, saying that, I think the system should have a think tank, so that the average John public could make recommendations or put things, because they're the ones actually living the situation, having problems with the situations. So they say necessity is the mother of all inventions. You get me? So because they need a change or they need a resolve, I think that will come. Last thing I want to say before I go, some individuals was telling me, like, sometimes when I call into the program or when we have a discussion, they get part of the conversation, but based on we speaking like in codes, some of it is lost to them. Yeah.
You're speaking in codes,
and I apologize. Yes, you speak in codes, so they say it goes over their head. But having a conversation with Mary, this thing came to mind, right? Remember I spoke or brought up the gentrification idea. That's what I see the government is doing. Question: if it is that the area of River Road, right, is termed or deemed not livable based on the flood and all that, there's a chance that the people that live there would be asked to move, right, or relocate.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the bus terminal or all the projects that they're doing based on that side of Grenada, River Road is an ideal spot to more or less move tongue to, innit?
Well, if you're having the flooding issue and you're saying it's unlivable, you may not want to do that.
That's the trick or the technicality. I'm seeing it. If it's branded like that, that means the land cost goes down. So an investor could come now and purchase the land for more or less nothing. You get me? Then they could go into the development, right?
Okay, I understand where you're coming from.
Ta-da.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I hope that one don't pass over the head. I hope that one ain't cold.
No, well, I'm hoping it doesn't go so. But when you check the course of action, the modus operandi of these individuals is almost like they're forcing pressure on different places, on different pockets of people, so that they could move out or get frustrated to the point that they have to tap into the system. It's almost like I get you so down that anything I put forward, you'll volunteer for it, or you would take it because you're so down, you're needy, right?
Yes. You
get me? That's what I'm seeing.
In other words, keep River Road the way that it is, and then declare that people can't live there, so that people with big money could move in, take over the area at a low price, and then develop it into a high price area.
Yes, sir.
All right,
especially since it's so close to the stadium, it's like prime real estate, right?
Yes, it is.
Right,
all right, man. Blessed.
So, yeah, I think some of the stuff that's going on is like it's preempted. You know, it's almost like orchestrated. Notice when there should be an announcement by the powers.
Hello?
There's always somebody acting. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you went off
for
a second. You went off for a second there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying there's every time there's need for him to come out and shine or say something that really should like move the people or support the people, he's missing. There's always somebody acting in that position. Is that convenient? Is that just coincidence? Or is it more strategic?
Man, could be hurricane coming. You have nothing to say to us.
Well, clearly they have the options of moving out, right, and going in other places, yeah?
Yeah, man. Like Dubai.
You get me?
Yeah, man.
And they could always just take a helicopter ride and pop up, yeah?
Yeah, man. Of course.
You see, man?
Bro.
Do safe travels, yeah?
Thank you very much, man. Blessings.
More time, brother.
Yeah, man.
Blessings.
Yes, my good bro, Fadu. And you know what? I have somebody I had to call. Let me see if I could find that individual tonight here. Let me see.
Can someone help me? Please help me unfold. What in the drums that does captivate the soul? Is it a ritual that speaks to one and all? It gets you off your feet and dance to the beat. When they play a song to open the ring, the whole of the crowd just start to sing. Ibole ole, boyo, ibole ole. Ibole ole, boyo, ibole ole. Ibole ole, boyo, ibole ole. Still wondering what is happening. Oh, I just find myself dancing in the ring. I just can't.
All right, listeners, I've got I'm going to say a caller online with me, but I called them. So I can't say a caller, I called them. So I called him, not a caller. All right. Good night to you, Mr. Gregory Bowen.
Good night to you, Sheldon. Good night to your listening public. And say viewing public as well.
All right.
But I know that it's the same audience, local, overseas, or diaspora in particular.
Yes, indeed. And let me ask the callers who are calling to hold off for a little while. Let me just have a short conversation with Brother Bowen. And how you been doing, though? How did the rain treat you yesterday?
Oh, well, I remain indoors.
Oh, boy, yeah.
It was really strong, hard rains in a short space of time. The downpour was torrential. So, and we see the damage done throughout the country.
Yeah, because I mean, some folks were telling me that they took nearly 4 hours from town to Grand Dance. Nearly 4 hours. Some people heading into St. David and so took 5 hours and more to get from the town of St. George up to wherever they were going in St. David and St. Andrew. And so it was pretty bad, yeah? Pretty bad.
That is true. And everyone tried to take the back road. And they encountered much more traffic than if they remained on the road where people were avoiding because of the weather. So wherever you turn, there was a blockage. So yes, this forwards to St. David is not exaggeration at all.
And I recognize that it has damaged a lot of the roads as well, because you have flooding. It is going to eat away at the roadway. I realize a lot of the roads have been damaged by yesterday's weather event as well.
That is true. That is true. So we are looking at a serious amount of repair work to be done. Not maybe in the heavy project type, but really technically sound. The repairs must be done to a greater extent than if we did not experience those heavy torrential rains.
Brother Boy, the St. John River flood mitigation project. Give us a rundown of that particular project. And again, I'm going to call on the persons who are calling to hold off for a while we have that conversation. Give us a little rundown of how that project came about and the various aspects of that project.
Yes, and I would be sort of brief because I know a lot of people want to call in.
No, if you don't want to be brief, you could be long. It's no matter. We want one thing with talking points. They love to hear you, and they know that you have the information, because right now, last time you was on talking points, right now you have the government about to have a press conference, I think they say by the end of the month, to deal with the oil and gas issue. So we might make them have one to deal with this project as well. So you take your time. Go right ahead.
Okay. So this project, the flood mitigation project, it was part of a broader regional disaster vulnerability reduction project referred to as the RDVRP. Under this project, it started, we negotiated with the financial institutions, we negotiated with, and we got international people to come in for the design. And everyone knows when we started the actual work. But before we did that, we divided the project into 7 packages that we could just refer to as 3 components. The first 4 packages have already been done. And why you put into the packages so that you get local contractors who, instead of having to spend 20 million, will have to spend just 4 each or 5 each, small pieces that they can get what the resources necessary to do it. Of course, if one could win all 4, right? But most of our smaller contractors in Grenada, and we look at the Carriacou thing, I just want to mention it, you can't keep out Carriacou people from coming in and tendering in any event. They don't like to do it because there'd be a lot of extra costs for them to bring in the people and the labor and so forth. So the breaking up into packages is not really to keep out any Carriacou person. In fact, they can get, they look at the papers, they look at when we advertise it. But we have already completed component 1, which included 4 packages. And that is what the infrastructure you can see there. The foundation in the river, the walls up, etc. But we had 3 remaining packages to be done. And when we tendered all 7 packages. So these went out, and you're very correct in what you're saying. The bridge up by steel, let's refer to it as the Steel's Autoplay Steel's Bridge. Then we have the Humpback Bridge, yes, and then we have the road itself to be done from the top of that area right down, coming to join the roundabout.
That's the relaying of the road.
Yes,
itself,
that's a major part of the project. All these have been tendered, and you see we started, and we were moving speedily. And what you must realize is, the removal of the bridge, you must start in the dry season. And this is something that we don't really see in the Caribbean, but it's prevalent in all in Asia and so forth, where you have heavy rains and so on. You plan and you tender, and the contractors must be prepared to mobilize and move speedily. That is one of the reasons why we cut it up into packages as well. So you could have 2 or 3 contractors working at the same time, and you give them different areas. Because when you start in January, February, you got to get out of the water, get out of the foundation, and all right, the water could come and you could start building above it. So we can't have one contractor trying to do all the foundation. You must break up the foundation. That's what we did, and we got out of it beautifully. The other part the tenders came in, you know. So the steel bridge, the tenders came in. The humpback bridge, and I think people, you yourself would describe it for them. That's the bridge where you enter, and it's a hump, and you go into the
Stadium. Yeah.
Right. And you move down, and then you have all the bit road to be done. So when we left office, these things were inside, you know. It was not a matter to say, okay, NDC started and they had to do administrative and preparatory work. The tenders were out. So they met the people. It was their duty to go through the tendering process, and they negotiated. They had negotiations with the firm on doing the 6, either 5, 6, and 7, however they wanted to take, but there were many tenders. So the one who would come in the lowest, it doesn't mean that his price will be where you want it. So you speak to him under the rules, and you start to negotiate with him. So if he came in the lowest at, let's say, 7, 8, 9, and he was 7, and you 7, you may feel it's still too high for you. You could get him, because de facto under the rules, he has already won the tender.
Mm-hmm.
But you were telling him, listen, I don't have $7 million. Let's go down to see if you can get 6.5. You are right, and he are right, because he has won, and he could negotiate with you. So that is the case. That's where we left. And everything was on target to come in for January, February of 2023. Yes, you may encounter things of, well, I want to reduce the price and I want to do that. So if you take a conscious decision in your mind that I don't want to start in 2023, I will start in 2024, take the risk of something will happen, but let me try to walk the cost on the money. Not a wise decision, but that's your prerogative. I would not advise it. So we left that in line, and you correctly said the comments were made that this was too costly. You got to weigh this against what will happen. And look, it has happened. Yes, the damage has come on people's cars, moved along. Luckily, we had no loss of life.
Well, well, in that area, we didn't have loss of life, but we had loss of life in other area. But
yes.
In that particular project, no, yeah.
Yes, and for this particular project, yes. But the rains came, and we saw what damage was done. And here we are to intimate. And I see certain people saying, oh, NNT stayed in there all this time, and they did nothing. Yeah, they did not complete the project. The bridge, the steel bridge, is designed to go high up. Do you know where there's a small vendor selling chicken a little high up? And you correctly said,
yeah, it was supposed to move a little bit up, yeah.
Okay, right. So, and that is what was made responsible for the problems yesterday, because that bridge was too low to allow the water to flow. And lower down, again, that humpback bridge, we all can see that it is a hindrance. It's too narrow for the water to flow again. One thing that the design took into consideration is to ensure that the water could go out by dredging that area under what we call the Green Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a landmark, and you got significant resistance. And I'm talking all way back in 2021 and 21 when we were doing the design. Significant resistance from people in moving that bridge. It was a landmark. So the best than the consultants had to design to lower the base and to go right out to dredging so that the flow of water could get out. But that was easily done undertaking, so that was not a problem at all. So we did all of those things, and it was just, and we left it there. In July, August, September, the consultants would have finished with the analysis of the winners, gave it to the present government, and they were the one to implement it. But they must keep in mind this is a dry season start. And while in the region, we may not be too au fait and have a lot of practice in the timing and start of a project, particularly with respect to rain and flooding, this one showed us. And we did it well, and we did the foundation for the walls well, and we came out of it before the waters came. And here we are today. So I really want to indicate that, as you correctly said, that it was this government who delayed, and one reason stated was the price was too high. Remember too, we did not only leave the design, we left the monies there. Oh, remember the statement that I will not have a rich government and let my people suffer? $500 million but to undertake those projects and projects that I've spoken of before. But if you spend it otherwise, and only tonight I was looking at the function, the Sir Arthur Lewis Memorial Lecture, and I saw good brother Timothy Antwine, and he was following us and what we are doing, and he sounded the warning: do not pay out lump sums of things. Pay it in parts so that you can have all the things that is $500 million there was planned for. No, we can't do any of it. It's not there. So one of the reasons could definitely be that you had no monies after you know what you planned to do with the $500 million, that you had no monies to undertake such projects. So I'm not saying that you're wrong to negotiate, or you negotiate, but there's a time frame that you must negotiate and come to a conclusion so that you can start the project in the dry season.
So, and while you're speaking, I have some video up of the Minister of Implementation. I'm visiting the project back in, let me just make sure when that was. It is in August of 2022. So that would just be a couple months after coming into office, them visiting the project, far advanced at that point in time, and visiting the project at that point in time. And even on the same Green Bridge and so on that you were speaking about, looking at that and other aspects of what was taking place there. But it seems as though since then, nothing really has taken place.
Nothing has taken place. And it was about that time that Beston completed the analysis when the contractors put in the bids. They completed the analysis to rank them to say, this is the first one, this is the winner, this is number two. If the winner messes up and can go, then you go to number two and you go to number three. Yes? But there we have it. But even if you cannot just discard the winner and say your price, no, you would not go down and go to number two, No, you can't do that. You have to have his consent. That's why the negotiation is critical, and you have to understand the rules. And you have to know that you played with a deadline for a dry season start.
And I remember one of the issues.
And that is why you give a contractor bridge up by steel, because if you finish the bridge up by steel in 2023 and you didn't finish the one down there, you could have the same problems in the area below. That's why you do it in lots. You give one contractor will be working up. It could be the same contractor if he wins both. Will be working at the top and working at the bottom. So you clear up the those problems in the smallest possible time.
And I remember specifically one of the issues that the engineers were speaking about was the fact that the humpback bridge was acting as a dam. So every time the debris would come down, when the river comes down, it wash away the soil and all the garbage and other things. They would stick by the humpback bridge, and that would cause the overflow of the water into the road and the stadium and that sort of thing. And they were saying that it was very important that that bridge be replaced. But again, as you were mentioning, that bridge as well met some serious... some people just don't want to see the humpback bridge go. They're saying, well, maintain it as a walkover bridge. Don't move the bridge and so on. But the bridge is causing some of the problems that's happening down there.
We're quite aware of that. It has to go. The design must fit the views and, perspective of the people. So maybe you put a bigger humpback bridge, as the case may be, but the design was done and submitted to this government. And you couldn't waste time with it. So it's a very short time. We had the timetable set out for the project, a very short time to get people's feedback and to get the engineers to redesign the top of the bridge. But the main thing, once you get out of the water, get out of the base before the rainy seasons, So you could, once you do the foundation, you could even make changes to the top of the bridge to say, well, okay, I put back a similar humpback bridge, etc. That is not the problem. The problem is nothing was done. And I think you could use your skills from the being a person to find out which contractor they had significant negotiations with. The cause for the breakdown, I don't know. But I know the damage that has been done and the problems. You see, you left the money. You put everything in place so that you can commence in January, February, the dry season of 2023. And there we are. When I look, and I know that the consequences, the experience, the planning, it was never there. And in the past, they had a perception already, well, I want to break down this wall anyway. So why do it?
Because and again, you mentioned that it was important to do this quickly and have it done during the period of the dry season.
Exactly. Come out of the water. You don't have to complete it in the dry season, but you come off the water so you can walk on top. Yeah. What little, or you can even leave it till next year if you wish. I would not advocate for that, but you can do some work at the top with the foundation really out. The water would not cause a problem to construction.
Okay. So it should not be a money problem for this project right now. It shouldn't be that you don't have enough money run out or anything like that.
$500 million. You never looked at the plan for the $500 million, the important projects that were done. And we're at a stage where we come out, I mentioned that before, we had just come out from COVID and we had borrowed a lot, necessarily so. And the debt to GDP ratio rose. That's why we were amassing the buffers. So these projects will not be delayed. And we were doing those on our own so that we keep down and continue on the downward trajectory of the debt to GDP ratio. And the debt to GDP ratio is not something that you could escape, Private sector in Grenada, banks in the region, but private banks would not lend you any monies based on your history of debt to GDP ratio. And the international institutions where you get cheaper loans, they would not help you. And they were working with us. Like I tell you, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, they were all working with us because we were on the path of doing things right. And the people were benefiting, the economy was moving, the construction was going. So it's gone.
Okay.
I should say the construction was going on, but now it's gone.
Had the new National Party been in office, do you expect by this point in time that project would have been completed to effectively deal with yesterday's rain event?
Oh yes, definitely so. Definitely so. And that period, and it came just after that, would have been a watch period to test the design. But we had no problem with the design. Best of them did a good design. Inside, some people were saying, remember how high this wall is, what are they building there, what are they blocking me out for? No, if you take off the two bridges and you allow the water to come down, in the worst scenario, at the highest risk, the walls would have taken it. And then it would have gone under the Green Bridge because that would have been part of the dredging and so forth. Or in any event, the water would have spread way down in front of the sea and not in the River Road area.
Indeed. And again, and some people are trying to make it look, well, River Road are custom flooding. Yes, we know. We know that River Road is an area over the years. You have floods taking place in that area. But had the flood mitigation project been completed, we would not have had this sort of devastation, because I personally know of people who have lost their vehicles yesterday. I mean,
yes.
It bang up, it mash up inside, flood out, the engine went underwater, all sorts of problems. And it's going to cost them, I hope they have flood coverage for the insurance policy, because other than that, they've just lost a vehicle. And you never know, sometimes they may still be paying a financial institution for the vehicle as well. And
Of
they've
course.
just lost it. So it's a sad situation that indeed we hope had not occurred. And what would be your direct statement to the government at this time in relation to that project?
Complete the project. They may have to borrow now, whether or not they can command a loan. And after what happened yesterday, the monies to do the project will definitely go up. And you have to pay the consultants some more. Remember, that's the same consultant that they did not, that they were giving them problems. So everywhere we have it. So I'll ask them to move speedily onto it. We see what is happening now around the world with floods and other natural disasters. We do not want it, but you cannot say, it came in 2004, man, so that's a 20-year something, that's a 10-year something, that it will not come again. You cannot say that. Risk. This is what governs many project implementation and planning throughout the world. It governs everything. And the risk factor has come into play in everything that you do. It's you may call it a statistical analysis. But let me tell you, when you look back to those great how do you think that they designed how the atom was moving or the electrons were moving at an atom? They'd never seen it, Statistical physics. And when they built that big ring under the earth, they proved it. So risk and statistics, they're there in everything we do today.
That's why you have the whole area of theoretical physics, so that you work on the theory that this is happening, why is this happening, without actually seeing it.
Yes. And then you use a statistical model. So if they do a statistical model for River Road, it might show them 1 year, it might show them 20 years, but 20 years with a factor. That factor is about, let's say, 30% or 80% certainty. That 20% of uncertainty is a dismal thing, It means it could hit you next week again. You never know. So that is how you must plan. That's how you must get your house in order. And I think we are doing that, We are planning in every respect. You can't be the Almighty, but I'm telling you, when you plan, you are prepared when you do it properly. And I think few people ever knew, well, they may have known, but it is not in the forefront of our mind that the final component is the complete resurfacing of the road to the high standard, right? From the bridge, go up along River Road, up along the wall, up to, you see, past where the project stopped, and you call it into the housing scheme?
Yes.
Or by the city? Yes, that is part of it. And when you look at it and you look at the condition of the roads, back to the call gas station, you could add something into it. It's not in bad shape, but the caliber and the manner in which you plan to do this small piece, you might just decide to give an overlay so that you can take heavier vehicles and so forth up to the roundabout.
So it wasn't just the wall. The wall is one, the bridges are another one, the road is another one.
It's another one.
Right.
That is 3 packages remaining. We divided what is there into 4 packages, and we had people, different companies working there simultaneously. And it must start before the rainy season. You must get a significant February, March, April, May, June, might be a little dicey, but you must plan your work so that everything gets done. The foundation, you come out of the water.
And we had a long period with no rain this year. I mean, this would have been the perfect time to get that done.
Perfect time. And this line was hot. We had forest fires and so forth. We'd have gotten it done. And we left everything ready and done. And most importantly, we left the money there. A lot of people ask me, Pearl, what you all do with $500 million there? And including in that $5 million was a solution for the pension. But it cannot be a pension solution alone. That is why we were talking to the unions. And that is why we had reached agreement with the unions until the court case came, we knew, everybody knew the result. So they say when the court case came, well, we are squashing the agreement that you have reached with them. But I think the unions at that point in time recognize the severity of what is happening. They may not have understood the other components of governance and the other things that must be done. Infrastructure, but you see what it would have saved yesterday. Yes, difficult, but you have to do all of that. The social component of our people living, again, the construction work will provide for certain families, and you must keep these persons who don't have, you must help them. And at the same time, you must give the people the pension that you have agreed upon. $500 million would have done that, but you had to manage it. You cannot pay off by saying, I'm paying this, or I'm doing all the infrastructure work and not doing the pension. You must sit with the social partners and work out and say, we will do this. Eventually, you will get your monies, but we have to do this. We have to do River Road. We have to do the other areas in the country, and we have to work with our social. We have to meet education, health. We have to put a big chunk in health. So, $500 million, it's a lot, and it was a great feat that only the new National Party administration could have accomplished. But we know why it was there. It was not a matter of you making a rich government. We were serving the people, and the $500 million is there to serve the people. Look at that bit of road down and the cliff to the woodlands. Again, money is there for that. And when you come to the budget, you cannot come to the budget and say, I'm running a deficit budget. Deficit means you don't have enough money to meet your expenses, and you don't know where it's coming from. It will be coming from that $500 million buffer, and over 5 to 10 years, it will have dropped significantly, but we have been putting things in place to continue with the buffer, and it would have been rising again and again. That's the way you have to manage, particularly small economies like ours.
Let me ask a question, Brother Bowen. Let me ask a question here, because you mentioned the Cliff project and you said the monies were there. But we just saw a supplemental being brought to the Parliament asking for a couple $1 million more for that project, a couple million more for Molyneux and so on. So is it a case where there are cost overruns? Is there a reasoning behind that they took too long to implement and material cost has gone up, or they've just mismanaged those projects?
Well, what is happening there is, remember, you got a budget for every year. You could budget, as most people find out. You budget $1 billion budget, but you don't have the cash. Your taxes and your revenues could only reach $600 million. So that's a fast. Yes? So what has happened there? And after every year, you got to come for your budget. What you spend is already spent. But what would have happened is that they come for $2 million more. Yes, overruns, that could be overrun, and that's the way they are. But they must come for every they must come for the money. But that is not all. You could come for it and you could approve it in the Parliament, but you don't have the cash. What do you do then? Your revenues, we can't even properly repair our health system. So no problem if they say I'm putting everything into the health system, but you have no more. When you come, what would be your intake? So if our normal intake is about $800 million, but we need to spend, without wastage, that is, 10 million, right? 800 at $1 billion. We could go into our buffer of $500 million and get the 200 million without borrowing, because anytime you borrow, get to the GDP go up, you pay out a lot of your money in interest. So monies, if you build that and you stay there, that interest money remains for capital work and to do things that you don't have to pay for. Simple analysis. Yes. Okay.
Brother Bowen, we'd like to thank you so very much for taking time out of your schedule tonight and joining us. We know you're a usual listener, you're a sometimes caller, but a every time contributor to Talking Points program. I'd like to thank you so very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, and I want to tell the listening public and the not viewing, but they will view the posts that people put up. there is that post that says the New National Party did nothing after this first phase. But you knew when the first phase, you all know when the first phase was completed. But what you did not know is perhaps what I revealed tonight is the next 3 packages, 5, 6, and 7, all the proprietary work was completed, and all you had to do was award the contract. No harm, you negotiate with the winner, the best tender, you negotiate with them. But you had all time to start this thing in the dry season in 2023. And if you fail, then you had all the right to start it in the dry season in 2024, because we left $500 million there with proper planning that will see Grenada just running smoothly. And as the buffer go down, it will be rebuilt. So you may end up with a 200 million buffer instead of the 500 million when you have done all the work. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of our people. Yes? And what I ask is that you listen and do your own analyses. Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. And tell the family good night for me.
I certainly will.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Good.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Yes, folks, and we're speaking with the former Minister of Finance and also former Minister of Infrastructure, Mr. Gregory Bowen, giving us some insights into that same project, yeah? So you understand now that there were 7 parts. So 5, 6, and 7, all the preparatory work for that was done, and all they had to do when they came into office, the present administration, was award the contracts in relation to those. And that was the bridge, the Humpback Bridge, as we know it, the Humpback Bridge, that area, the bridge up by Steels, and the paving of the road itself, the whole River Road area, paving the road. So those were the only outstanding parts. And let me see how much days now this government has been in office. We're counting them down, you know. Yeah, just now we go reach 900. We had 874 days of this administration, and they've been unable to complete that task. A simple task, they have been unable to complete that task. I wonder if we want to hear what they were saying back in, let's hear what they were saying back in 2022. Let's take this GIS report and hear what they were saying about that project, because you know them already. Yeah, let me hear what they're saying.
Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams, conducted his first official site visit to the St. John's River Flood Mitigation Project on Wednesday. Minister Williams was accompanied by consultant Beston Consulting, contractors Sunrise Construction and Creative Designs, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of MIT, Ms. Perron Johnson. He said the purpose was primarily to get an update from the consulting team and contractors, but more importantly, to chart the way forward.
The project has been broken up into different stages, right? We have, from different packages, so to speak, from package 1 to 7. And we have observed so far what has been taking place. And both Sunrise Construction and Creative Design were responsible for doing the actual construction of the river road, the walls and so, that will keep out the water. And we have Beston as the consultants. And everything seems to be going well. They explained everything, what they were doing to us. And so far we are satisfied. We have identified the bottlenecks that have to be cleared up. We have identified the status of the project. And right now we are seeing how we can move forward in terms of implementing the project in a timely manner.
The flood mitigation project consists of 7 packages. Packages 1 and 2 were awarded to Creative Designs. Infrastructural work on packages 3 and 4 were completed by Sunrise Construction Company. Minister Williams says his ministry will ensure that the tendering process for the other packages can be done.
We have certain parts that needs to be tendered, and in the aim to do it quickly, my ministry will see what we can do to fast track the process so that this project doesn't take too much time. The works involve, 1 is the main road, 1 there's a bridge by Steel area. We are going to remove the bridge by Steel and put it a little higher by where the hump is. Also, we are going to move the original bridge, the Humbug Bridge to go to the stadium. We are going to move that one and bring it a little lower down again. So all these are things that we have to tender, and we know that we have local companies that can do the job, and we will be rooting for them to get the job to be done. And we have full confidence in them to do it promptly and in an effective manner.
GIS spoke with Program Manager of Creative Designs, Darren Woodward. He said that packages 1 and 2 of the project are on schedule for completion.
Currently we are on programme, due to complete presently at the end of September, with both packages 1 and 2. The work is going very well and we are within budget. For package 1, we are currently in the process of closing up on what would be the stadium side of the river. On the south side, adjacent to where we are and where I am right now, we're currently just awaiting some assistance before we can commence with the remainder of this wall. In package 2, we're in the process of completing the Gabion baskets, which form the stadium on the north side of the river, and we have one small section, roughly 32 metres, of construction of retaining wall on the south side of the river, which sits behind Purcell's building.
So yes, folks, so you just got confirmation of everything that the Honorable Gregory Bowen just said from the mouths of them themselves. Yeah? And pray tell, this video that I just played dates back to the 24th of August 2022, over 2 years ago. And you hear them speaking of moving quickly, because all of the work in relation to packages 5, 6, and 7 was done. So all they had to do was get the tenders out and so on, and finalize on who the contractor would be to carry out those. The 2 bridges and the road itself. That's all they had to do. And they have not done that. Up to this point in time, the 13th day of November 2024, since making that statement on or around the 24th of August 2022, we are now at the 13th of November 2024, and on the 12th, because what they said they would ensure that was done quickly on the 24th of August 2022, because that was not done, on the 12th of November 2024, River Road was flooded. So I hope that puts an end to this nonsense that we hear some people speaking about, the project, it was a bad project and all this nonsense and so on. Yeah, or they want to go in the oven. The cake ain't even inside there 5 minutes yet. You want to go inside there and stick your hand down inside it and pull out the cake batter. You don't even start to make crust yet. The cake fall. Okay, you go and you open the oven early. And you want to go and grab that now and eat it and say that, oh, the person can't make cake. No, it is incomplete. You cannot judge it because it is incomplete. Absolute nonsense. And I see a lot of people who's supposed to have some modicum of intelligence making these unintellectual and dunce statements. Yeah? Or they tell them straight to the face they're talking stupid. Don't be afraid to tell them. I find someone like a little afraid to tell them when they're talking stupidness. Tell them they're talking stupidness. Yeah? 440-7377. I have missed quite a few calls, so folks, you can call now. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. You can call, give us a call. 440-7377. You can call us on the WhatsApp. And let me just make sure I sort out the WhatsApp properly so that you can call here. You can call us on the WhatsApp and you can call us on the local line. Let me make sure that and the overseas line are clear so you can give us a call on either or. All right? Nice. Beautiful. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Yeah.
Rastafari. Go right ahead, brother.
Listen, I was listening to Independent Talk on Sunday, and there were 2 guys who made 2 salient points, and I think I would agree with them. They were saying that they don't. Yes, the opposition is having village meetings in different places, but I believe some things that is that has happened did not send out to the public loud enough. When the Prime Minister went to Tobago and spoke to the journalist, and the journalist asked him about his transformation agenda, he said, we campaign on a transformational agenda, but it's not so much transformation, but restorative justice. And I don't think most people understand what the word restorative justice means. So I think what the opposition should do when they have their meetings, they should pound them thing a little more. Let the public know what that word means and what is behind it, because the modus operandi of this government is to do their own thing and keep it a secret. And if the opposition, who has the power to give us the information, don't tongue it. They have to tongue it like how you're tonguing chocolates to make balls. You have to tongue it and let the people know what the word means. Because when you tongue it, you're making your supporters more powerful, more exposed to information, and more ready to talk. That's what I say. The next thing I want to talk about is that he went to England and he told the king he wanted to bring Grenada into a republic. I didn't hear much about that from the opposition, and they should tongue that too. Let the people know what they're voting against.
What I would say is this: I do not believe that he said that to King Charles. He was there at the coronation of King Charles, but at the same time, he did make that statement to a very popular newspaper in the UK that it is the intention of the NDC administration to move towards Grenada being a republic. He has never since revisited the topic, as far as I've heard. I haven't heard him revisit the topic, but it wasn't directly. Just for clarity's sake, he did make a statement to a newspaper and not to the king. Yeah.
But the word of God says, out of the abundance of speak it.
No, right? I'm not trying to take anything out of what you're saying. I just clarify.
Yeah. Just saying that he said it whether it's to the king or who, but he come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So, and another thing I want to talk about again is the trip to Nigeria. As a prime minister, you're supposed to inform the people where you are going, who gave you the invitation, where you are going, how long you're going for, because that is what he was elected. He was not selected, he was elected. So he had to go to Rwanda, and he said that there was a disease there, he couldn't go. And he got an invitation from Dangote, how they call the guy. He's supposed to call back, let his government know that he is going to, he get a visit from Dangote, and he's going to Nigeria. We're not supposed to find out, to be puzzled at where the prime minister is. He's supposed to tell us clearly where he's going. And these are the things that we need to let to pong when this let the people know what is going on in the country, because that is the only leeway we have from the opposition to know a lot of that we wouldn't know otherwise. So I just like to say that I heard Clifford and another guy made the point. They say that they don't believe that the opposition is ponging some things enough, and I want to agree with them, because at the end of the day, it is the opposition that has to push. They are the engine for us for the next for the government to change their course of action. And as I said, is to keep everything secret, and they say information is a need to know basis. And I never hear about in a democracy where information is on a need to know basis. I just want to point out this few thoughts. And I hope and pray that the opposition will listen to me and at least pong some things a little more, so that the people will be more advanced and advised and be ready to give information as it comes.
All right. Thank you
so much. Have a good night,
much.
partner.
Same to you, my brother. All right. I'm not seeing you on the road these days, man.
Huh?
I'm not seeing you on the road these days. You are wrong, though.
Yeah, there, man. Hanging in, man. You see, the thing about thing kind of slow, no?
Oh,
so,
okay.
You know, when you get one, that's about it for a while. So, we're hanging in there.
Okay, great, brother.
A blessing.
All right,
good
lovely. 4407377 347-329-3101. We have another call on the line. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, caller. Yes, indeed. Go right ahead.
Good night. I'm just probably I'm being repetitive or are still here, but I just want to empathize with the family of the individual who would have died in Woodlands yesterday. My heart goes out to the family. I understand. I would understand how they. I understand how they feel, and so. However, I want to make my point that this administration has failed, or people of Grenada, Carriacou, and people of Martinique so many times. It's an understatement. They have failed us in burial. They have failed us now. They have failed us Friday, and they have failed us today. These are things, whether political, any situation at all, they should be at the A game with this. They're 2 years in, and they should be in the A game right now. It should be no trial or anything with them at this point. You should have enough information. You should have enough connections. You should have enough information. I said information to assess certain situations, to conclude or to say, well, okay, listen, there seems to be a trough, a wave, a depression, or whatever it is out there. And we are asking our citizens to be cautious. We are asking our citizens to avoid low-lying situations. We are asking our citizens or liaise with the Ministry of Education and say, well, look, this is what we're seeing. We're in the rainy season. We're in that season where floods, rain, whatever the situation is going to happen. So let's just close schools for today because of what we're seeing. Let's just send persons in low-lying areas home for today because of what we're seeing. And they have failed bigly. Burial is a big failure. Friday was a big failure. And yesterday was a big, big failure. I am not laying blame on anyone or any entity, but I'm saying to you that yesterday, Friday, and burial was a big failure. First of all, I must lay blame on the Prime Minister of Grenada because he is the head of national security. Where was he when his citizens needed his advice, his security, and all of that? Where was he? No. To come and talk after the fact, it's a no-no. You don't want to hear because it already happened. So, at the end of the day, no, you can't tell me that I have to accept the fact that you can't lay blame here or you can't lay blame here or there because they failed bigly. Okay? And I can't understand where is the Prime Minister all of this up to now. To me, I see me in a photo appearing by some mudslide in the mud. But when the Grenadian people, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique needed him the most, to be there, to be forefront, to stand up and say, look, this is what's going to happen. Here is burial. Please evacuate. Look, he wasn't there. I cannot see any other way but to lay blame on him and his administration for his humongous failure to us, the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Thank you very much, Sheldon.
All right, thank you. Yes, indeed. 440-737-347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside. And I think we've got a caller online. Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott, and good night to the Grenadian people, home and abroad.
Yes.
Patty, good night. night to
Antikia May.
Yes, my boy. Good night to Dr. Mitchell, Mr. Peter Davis. Good night, wherever you all are. This, all the NNPI say. Well, Sheldon day, boy, I want to let the people know all your Antika me don't well at all. And not in good health these 2 days. Yes, I'm suffering right now. Well, that lady talking there about the Prime Minister. Boy, are you not vote that man? The Grenadian people that vote that man. That vote for that man. That man don't care about people. I don't want to hear where he was. Dick Mitchell as the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou, don't care about us. What do you worry? Hey, that man don't care about people. I don't understand. That you was. I 67 years of age, and this is the first time I experiencing what is going on in Grenada, Carriacou. I mean, I've been under Gary and Maurice Bishop. I passed through all of that with the mongoose and all PRA and NDC, the first NDC. But as you was, people suffering. Are you asking about where the pipe? We have any Prime Minister in Grenada? We do have Prime Minister in Grenada. One set of people are calling our radio station and speak about this. Watch. I had to beg the doctors in the general hospital to send me home, let me die. I also asked them, I plead with them people, let me go home. 11 o'clock, they bring in some orange pill for you. I've been in the hospital, you know. 11 o'clock and I ain't telling no lie. If I lie, Papa God, shut me up. Grenadians in trouble out here, we suffering. I didn't vote for NDC. I'm an NNP. I vote for NNP. And I ain't saying that they was perfect, they make a lot of mistakes, but this is the worst. I hear Mary and them calling Shaggy and a lady from Grenville calling, and they're giving all people suffering. People suffering, everything nice with them. People suffering in this country. Down to children and all asking me, Miss Cammy, what going on? What going on? Hey! But I'm not Keith Michelle. They make mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes, yes. Because there is none of us perfect. But our lives was much better in this country. Well, life was much better. You could have still get something in the hospital. I beg them doctors and them nurses to come home and die. I tell all you, they say, 2 people die by me, and they stay on the bed for the whole year till like one them come in the evening and take the dead body. They bury one of the lady tomorrow. She died day, and they had the oxygen on, and I say the lady sleeping. What are they telling me? What's going on in Grenada? I was Prime Minister where he was. That man care about anybody? They care about anybody? They care about themselves. And whatever we get, we have to take it because we don't put them there. We Grenadian people, but not me. I didn't vote for them. I didn't vote for them, Papa God, no, I did not vote for them. When I went in Brazil and vote, I put the X by the house. By the house. And I burned me belly. I know I could tonight could be the last night I'll hear my voice. But I'm not going to, I don't want to have nothing. I don't want to have nothing to do with these people and them. They don't love nobody. They don't care about nobody. They don't care about people in this country. People suffering. People is suffering. We as Grenadians have to thank we friends. We have in America, Canada, England that helping the family here. Thank you all family that in America and Canada and them other countries. Grenadians is suffering. I know where I still is going to, and every day somebody come in and say, I mean, what going on? I sit down, have a small little freezer with a few drinks, water and things. Nothing in selling. I just go in town and sit down and come back home. Hey, lot of mercy on us. Lot of mercy. One set of people are eating and drinking under NNP. A lot of people used to get a liquor. A lot of NDC used to work under NNP. I'm not saying everybody, but they used to get work. And I used to take my eyes and see a lot of them going by Dr. Michel in Boucherville, NNDC supporters, on a Thursday and a Tuesday. Grenadians suffering, and you have the belly. Somehow you have the belly and the balls to say, oh, like the best government. That lady by the hospital, Molly Wells, she says she's Adventist. Boy, watch. The kind of thing I don't want to say. The kind of thing I don't want to say, somebody will bounce me down in the road. Or they have to stop that wickedness. Or they must tell Mr. Dick Mitchell and tell the rest of ministers what the wrong thing they're doing, because they will not stay there forever. Luckily, do we say? You have to think the people meeting and the way going down. These people are doing nothing to help nobody. All of them are they're eating our food now. Poor people are suffering. Yesterday, I see people crying in Boucherville. That farmers and them lose all what they had with that water. Nobody will tell you that either have this thing. My sympathy go to the people that lost their life, who lost their car this morning, car in the sea. Little children, the parents cannot give them money to pay the bus. I don't have a suffering right now. I am suffering. I still have to make sure I put some children on bus. Give them $1. When I sell milk to him, give them money to pay the bus. Give them a liquor juice. It's sad for what I see going on with children. They don't go into school. They are in the terminal whole morning. When evening time they don't want to go home, they fight police running up and down.
I'm using a voice assistant to convert your voice to text and respond to you.
Hello.
If you want to continue, please stay on the call.
Cammy. I think she touched that button on her phone again. Cammy. Oh boy, there's a button. Cammy have a fancy phone there, and I think she touched a button on it. Hello. I was hoping that we get her back. Okay, it seems as though we've lost her there. Yeah, Cammy have a fancy phone there, and when she touch a particular button on it, it could transfer what you're saying into a text message to send to people and so on. So she probably mistakenly touched that button, and that has happened. All right. Yes, folks, it is, we have roughly about 10 minutes. I need to remind, to let you all know, just in case, because I don't think I've said it here on the program before. There will be no meeting tomorrow, no zonal meeting tomorrow or on Sunday. So this week is a week off. There is no zonal meeting taking place tomorrow because, usually on a Thursday we have the zonal meetings. There is no zonal meeting taking place tomorrow and no zonal meeting taking place on Sunday. But next week, Tuesday and Thursday will be the final 2 zonal meetings in this round of meetings. So this is the first round. So the final 2 zonal meetings will be taking place next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So there will be no meeting this Thursday. So there's no zonal meeting tomorrow. And there's no zonal meeting on Sunday. Tomorrow as well will be the 2nd anniversary of Talking Points. Yeah, that will be 2 years of Talking Points to the day. So tomorrow's program will be, we got vibes it up, man. Yeah, because it will be 2 years of Talking Points tomorrow. All right? So, yeah, just needed to tell you also there's no zonal meeting taking place tomorrow, and there is none taking place on Sunday. Just making sure that I get that information out there. And just in case anyone wants to call, you still have the time. 440-7377 and 327-349-3101. That is the number for you to call and get on the inside. And just before we run out of time, I wanted to mention something here. Yeah, I want to mention something. I was looking at Time magazine. Somebody sent it to me this evening. The Time magazine. And let me see if I could pull it up here. I will put it up full so you all could see. Yeah, Time magazine. On the Time magazine, they have hailed the Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, as one of the 100 climate change people, the people fighting for climate. I'm not subscribing. One of the people that are fighting for climate change and so on. But they are basing him being this climate change hero on specifically this. Because of the CRIF. Deacon Mitchell had nothing to do with CRIF. So he's getting praise from Time magazine for something that the other Mitchell did. I think Time magazine mixed up the Mitchells. Definitely. Time magazine, you mix up your Mitchells. Yeah? Because when they're speaking about, because of the scale of the wreckage, the Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, made a record $44 million payment to Grenada to help it rebuild. And that allowed Mitchell to activate a first-of-its-kind debt clause, postponing $30 million in repayments from the Grenadian government to private investors, including U.S. investor firms Franklin Templeton and T. Rowe Price. While the debt will still be paid back later, the near-term flexibility allowed Mitchell's government to increase its liquidity and put the additional resources to disaster relief, a form of climate resilience that had never before been tested. But who created it and who put it in place? You heard a man called a little earlier, Mr. Gregory Bowen. He was one of the key people behind putting that strategy in place. The strategy didn't exist. That was out of the brain of Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and Mr. Gregory Bowen. So when they're talking about all here, they're talking about the CRIF and all this kind of thing here. That had nothing to do with Deacon Mitchell. This has happened in spite of and not because of him. But you see, because I'm telling you, they're going to take this and they're going to try to come to the Grenadian people and the same NDC people. They're going to take the fact that he's featured by Time magazine and they're going to come with it and they're going to hear them running to the radio tomorrow and saying, well, the Prime Minister of Grenada has been, Time magazine recognized him. Foot. They recognize him for something that the other Mitchell did, not him. He don't know nothing about CRIF. He find out about CRIF afterwards. He didn't know about CRIF. CRIF came about because of Hurricane Ivan in 2004. Although you wouldn't know that if you speak to different members of the NDC right now, because they ain't like to hear that. CRIF started in 2007. One of the first, if not the first country to join was Grenada. And that $44 million payment is because of the work of the New National Party, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, and the New National Party team. So if they are focusing, if they are featuring the Prime Minister of Grenada based on CRIF and based on the debt clause, because it was the New National Party cabinet that decided that any borrowing that's going to take place, and I saw this after I spoke to Mr. Gregory Bowen, because it was that cabinet that decided that any borrowing they're going to take, they're going to put in there a debt clause. And that catastrophic clause, that clause says that if there is a natural disaster, that you can suspend your payments. So you have a hurricane or so, you can suspend your payments, which gives you more money that you could spend on the local economy. But you go see them NDC and them jumping up about, oh, he's featured in Time magazine. Get the full story. He's featured in Time magazine based on the work of Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Not Deacon. Wrong Mitchell. Wrong Prime Minister Mitchell out of Grenada. Yeah? Because if you read the article, you would recognize that what is featured there is the situation. What is featured there is the fact that the CRIF was put in place, Grenada participated in the CRIF, and that there was a debt clause in relation to all the borrowing that the country took. That is not Deacon Mitchell that do that. That is what qualify he to go there? No, he's there by false pretense, my friends. But you go hear them take that and try to run with it. We waiting for them. Let them come with it. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Okay. I did, man. I just did. So listening to Mr. Gregory, and we can clearly see and say that the project, the monies were allocated and the project supposed to continue and finished. So now the project has, never continued. We would like to know where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Boss,
that's where I'm coming from.
That government doesn't answer them kind of question, huh?
Yeah, because it was still signed and delivered. By due respect, government and project of that nature, the Molyneux Road, and this thing was a continuously. I mean, there was no need to scrap it and do it all over paperwork again. It was just it is in the stage that it should continue. No, there should be no stoppage in it. And why? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean, and we see the disaster which occurred yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah? We saw the disaster which occurred yesterday. And again, the Spring Cliff, is Cliff they call this? The road there going to the Calavini area there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw there's a bit of cave-in that took place from on top to the bottom road. So now, again, there is another question. Yeah? Is now how they started, they undermine already on top there. So if you widen the road on one side, now you have this cave-in take place, the meaning that you will have to put massive retaining walls, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you pass there and you look at it, but it's there are many questions arising from this. Yeah? And I think we're supposed to get a fair answer with this because, again, all the paperwork, everything is there. They themselves said it and it started. So why was it not continued? And the people lost whatever they have lost, their cars and everything. Know how they get the monies for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Supposing it was complete and there was nothing, they could have saved what they have lost today.
Mm-hmm.
So who will compensate them?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me see. My brother, we're going to talk further because I realize what time it is.
Yes, I've seen it. I'm watching it. Yeah.
And you know what has gone. All right, brother. Thank you so very much for your call.
Okay. All the best.
Thanks. Folks, and let me just show something quickly here because, when we expose it is when they just go and fix it. And so let me show you. It might look like it's just bush. That bush is actually, if you're going in the area of Belmont, Greystone, going up the hill there, there's a school for autistic children up inside Greystone. What you're seeing there is where they clean out from the drain, they put the stuff on the side of the road, and what they put on the side of the road, the grass has actually started to grow on it. It's been there so long. Mr. MP for the South, the people of Greystone and the parents that have to be bringing their children and so up there would like for you to ensure that your team goes and clean the dirt and so that they throw at the side of the road up there. Yeah? So what you're seeing, the bush you're seeing at the side there is actually growing in the gravel, the stuff that they take out of the drain and they throw there. That is what you're seeing there right now. So go and fix the thing. You like to go around all the different places and so on, running up and down. Fix this stuff in your own constituency too. Yeah, there's a school for autistic children there. So parents have to be going up and down and so on. So at least try and fix the area, right? Nice. Folks, that's about all the time. When they come with the Time Magazine thing, and they're talking about Deacon Mitchell featured in Time Magazine, tell them Time Magazine don't know their toe from their finger because they ain't know what they're talking about. Wrong, Mitchell. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'm heading out, and everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. I am out.
It's party time, let's go! Yes, you left, you on the light. Now you're back to enjoy the rest of the night. And it is such a good sight. You waited and waited.